Skill 8. Dispensing Discipline. Treat disciplining as a way to educate employees and elevate their behavior, not as a form of punishment. Effective discipline flows from clear communication. If you and your employer provide clear written guidelines to employees on your standards and expectations for acceptable behavior, then discipline becomes a simple, straightforward educational and enforcement tool. Your employee handbook should state your policy for responding to improper conduct or poor performance. As long as you dispense discipline in a uniform manner, you can address inappropriate or unacceptable behavior using a fair, consistent approach. At the same time, however, the best disciplinary policies allow for flexibility. While you must explain the consequences of poor behavior, you don't want to confine yourself to following the same course of action in every situation. You may favor progressive discipline that starts with an oral warning for a first offense and a written warning for a second offense, but your policy should permit immediate termination in the most severe cases. If you're nervous about having to discipline employees, realize it's the first line that can prove most harrowing. Once you get over that initial hump, you'll feel more relaxed. An all-purpose opening line is, "I'd like to discuss a concern about your behavior performance." By speaking with clarity and neutrality, you avoid triggering defensiveness or straying off topic. Beware of these pitfalls. Prefacing. "I'm sorry to have to say this, but I couldn't be more unhappy with you. It's disappointing for me to have this chat with you." Lecturing. "It's your job to. You should know better than that. It's only fair that." Blaming. "I don't want to point fingers, but the fault lies mostly with you." Personalizing. "Problems seem to follow you. You're hardly innocent here. You've let me down." Psychoanalyzing. "You always need to be the center of attention. You have a lot of suppressed rage. You appear depressed to me." Confessing. "You think you have it bad. Listen to my situation. I happen to be a recovering alcoholic." Focus on informing the employee of poor behavior and specifying how to improve. Organize your thoughts in threes. First, the precise problem. "I'd like to discuss a concern about your performance." Second, corrective steps. "To address this concern, you must." Third, consequences of failing to solve the problem. If this problem continues, the next steps are. Discipline employees as soon as you become aware of their substandard behavior. Waiting only makes matters worse. The sooner you notify the individual of the violation and the need to improve, the sooner you will see results or advance to the next round of discipline. Discipline in private. Meet in a soundproof room at a time when others are less likely to interrupt or eavesdrop. Allow time for the employee to respond to your comments. In some cases, you may find that a performance problem or apparent infraction stems from a misunderstanding. A respectful dialogue can go a long way toward preventing such situations in the future. Document every disciplinary meeting or action and put your notes in the employee's personnel file. Ask employees to review and sign warnings or probationary memos and give them a copy. Agree on a follow-up schedule to track improvement. Establishing checkpoints shows the employee that you expect results by a certain time and that you will remain vigilant in monitoring progress. Warning: never delay documentation. Do it in real time. Show employees what you've written at the end of your meeting and ask them to review and sign your summary notes. Then place the documentation in the worker's personnel file immediately. If you procrastinate, You may never get around to doing it, or worse, you may not recall key points. Here's a tip. Always document in threes: the existing problem, the corrective action that the employee must take, and the consequences of noncompliance. Discipline the same way every time. Review how you handled similar problems in the past to avoid creating the impression that you're treating a member of a protected class differently. It's true. Treat discipline as an educational and correctional tool, not as a means of punishing or reprimanding people. By emphasizing that your disciplinary policy is part of a support system to educate everyone to meet a certain standard and correct behavior that falls below that standard, you couch discipline in positive, non-threatening terms.